second half of the NFL season is here, and those young QBs are putting on a show. But who's the best team? This is when we separate the pretenders from the contenders. And you can follow that story every Sunday with the NFL on CBS.
Welcome back to Fourth and Forever. Joining me today, special guest, one of the best defensive players in the entire NFL, former Cal Berkeley Golden Bear. We won't hold that against him, but he's one of the captains of the division-leading 9-2 New Orleans Saints. Welcome, my good friend, Cam Jordan.
Hey, appreciate you for having me on.
How we doing, bro?
Man, just living the life.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Absolutely.
What's a day off for you like? I mean, you guys are coming off a big win against the Broncos. We'll get into that. But, you're a seasoned vet now, so you're constantly taking care of your body. What's an off day like for you? Is there such a thing?
If you ask my other half, she'll probably laugh and say there's no such thing as an off day in the NFL. But typically, I wake up in the morning. Normally, I go into a elementary or high school, a local community school, and talk to kids. You know the vibes. It's all about just promoting positivity, and it actually gets you out in the community. So being out there, interacting, it's just absorbing what the next generation is. But now we're in COVID. Now it's a lot easier. Now I'm just like I'm sort of sit up like you do. I'm at the house and I just like zoom in. I don't even have to get into the car to talk to these kids. But then, so after I do that. Off days usually, I guess before I do that, I just, cook for the fam, and then get my day started. So then we do that and then head into rehab. Gotta make sure that all the body is working. And now, the NFL done passed new protocols. So now it's strictly just rehab and get out, But normally it's rehab, it's, conditioning, it's working out. And then it's fine tuning. So, after after you run, after you lift, you might be like, the hips sort of tweak, and then you go back for some stretches and whatever, some yoga, whatever it is. But currently it's rehab, get the heck out.
Are you a big yoga guy? I know you went to Cal, all that NorCal stuff, that loosey-goosey tree hugging type stuff that you love up there.
Hey, I was a part of the class that, got to watch the tree huggers get snatched out of trees. to expand our stadium, which now is awesome. I didn't get to see none of that. We were in the renovated cubicles they put up beside the rugby field. But whatever. Hey, Cal looks beautiful now, although they're sponsored by Under Armour. So, that's
ouch.
tough.
And they had a rough one last week, dude. 1-point loss to Stanford. What's that all about? Battle of the Bay, the game.
I'm blaming it on COVID. I don't. They're they're 0-3. I got to control what I can control. That's playing the run and winning as a Saint right now. Because I
love it.
I don't know. I'd like to say COVID got behind the ball. I don't know.
You should start playing DB, dude. That was a quick backpedal out of the Cal Bears. All right. I respect it. But quickly on your background, you're born in Minnesota. You relocate to Chandler, Arizona. You got this NFL bloodline and pedigree with your father, Steve, who played 13 years as tight end for the Minnesota Vikings. Did you ever play any offense growing up in high school, thinking about it in college? What happened with that? How come you're not an offensive guy?
Yeah, offensive tackle. That was all I had in my life. And who wants to be hit like that? Nobody, that's what I've always said about offensive linemen. One, you're fat. Two, it's probably slow. Three, you're getting hit every time we come off the ball. You're not delivering the blow unless maybe you're a pulling guard. And even then, You've got linebackers flying down this hole where you got to keep your head on a swivel. And if you're hitting
That's
me...
That's a really good point.
Nobody wants to get hit like that. I guess the only worst spot would be a quarterback being hit blindside, I guess. And we love those.
Yeah, that sucks. But you make a good point. And they're called offensive linemen, but they're really on the defensive. And you, on the D-line, rushing them are really on the defensive. So I've never thought about that. Played football for a long time. That just really woke me up. So thank you for that.
No doubt.
Let's go back to our... Cal USC showdown in 2008, the Mark Sanchez Cam Jordan Bowl, as I like to remember it. But we had a rough game against you guys, and I remember going into that game, I remember Steve Sarkisian saying, hey, I know the record's not the best, but these guys they're going to give us a little trouble on defense. Here's what we got to look out for, blah, blah, blah. And I remember your name way back when. So I wasn't surprised when you start balling in the league. But we never really played against each other in the league. I think you sacked me one time in that game against the Golden Bears in the Coliseum. Do you have any memories of that game specifically?
Not at all. The only 4 college games I remember was my freshman year ASU. Because I'm from Arizona, I ended up scoring.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, ended up scoring at the crib, and then we lost that game. It hurt. And then I probably got the most sound advice from Deshaun Jackson because I was over there I was 18 and I was like, I can't believe we lost these. He's like, hey man, they're gonna be in plenty more big games, but the way you ball out is gonna be how they remember you. It's not by this loss. I'm like, oh, mind blown, right? Shout out to D-Jack and Robert Jordan. And then, of course, it was like a super wet and coldy UW game. And, oh, snap. No, I think there was one other USC game that I remember. I fell on Matt Barkley's cleats and they took the air out of me. And then an Oregon game where we beat the hell out of Oregon and D-Jack took it up the sideline. Yeah, it was only 4.
How good was Deshaun Jackson, bro?
Electric. Come on. The first game I ever I was actually ever a part of Cal. And as a freshman, you're on all the special teams. I was on I think I made the first tackle of the game. I feel like that's my claim to fame. At Cal, I made the first game I ever in, I made the tackle. Didn't redshirt, so true freshman on kickoff made the tackle. So technically, I made the first tackle of the game. That being said, D-Jack returns one against Tennessee that game. He goes bananas, takes a punt return.
I remember that.
And, from there, it's you're electric. You get D-Jack. Of course, we had Javid Best, who was stupid electric in college and then even was electric until he had a concussion out in the league. And then we had Shane Vereen, Justin Forsett. That backfield was lethal.
That was a squad, man. That's a really good backfield skill position.
I'm not gonna lie. You should have just came over and been a quarterback. I feel like that's all we were missing.
That was it. Then you go on, you play for the Saints. Man, I'm trying to remember my second road game in 2009, my rookie year. We go and play the Saints. I get picked off for 108 yards back to the crib. I try and cause a pile for Jonathan Vilma, and I get a fine. Vilma and I since have, squashed that beef. Very public, very ugly. No, we were partners last year on ABC College Football, and I remember him bringing it up one time during a broadcast because a quarterback tried to make this, crappy tackle, and he goes, hey, Sanchez, that reminds me of you. And he says it on air, that reminds me of you when you tried to blow out my knees your rookie year. And I was like, and we had never really talked about it. I was like, oh, whoa. This is weird, bro.
Today's the day.
But the thing I remember most about that stadium is the atmosphere. It was so loud. I couldn't hear myself think. Tell me your favorite moment about the Saints fans, your favorite part of the Saints fans, and then what it's like not playing with them this year. How hard has that been on you guys?
Right? Anybody who's ever played in New Orleans, the Superdome is unreal. The energy is unmatched. The moment you walk in and they declare the Saints are coming through the tunnel, and we charge out there, it's jump. From the last second you hear, Breeze, it's going to be it's going to be epic. So then, of course, you get out there, we drop the hammer, and it's who that, and the chant goes up, and it's deafening from jump. So to not have that, the lack of chills, I guess you say. Normally you hear that, it's like the ring on the bell for the boxing match. All right, we finally started this up. That tells you we're war ready. But to not have that, it was an adjustment. I'm not gonna lie to you. The first couple games, you're like, oh, it's just like preseason game. But even a preseason game, we're still holding 40, 50,000 fans.
Right.
And it was just immediate family might have slipped in there. So let's call it 500 people. 100 people, 200 people, it wasn't much. And that it's like being in an away game every game. It's sort of lackluster, I would say, in terms of the fan energy. But if anything, it builds huge confidence for our team because we bring the energy. We're not relying on anything. It's us, and we treat it as it's us versus the world. And sort of, if anything, it has brought us to a new standard of it's always been us.
That's great. I saw the NFL did a whole, a 60 special on the Raiders fans and the black hole. I feel like they need one for the Saints fans because you guys get just as animated and just as festive with the costumes. You got the voodoo people with the face paint and all that kind of stuff. And then you got like the Pope guy is always there, like, you know, blessing people in the crowd and stuff, handing out, the communion and all that kind of stuff. Like it's so fun to watch. It's got to be amazing playing for them. But then you said there's no fans in the stands, so you guys bring your own juice. I mean, after the games, it looks like there's a full-on club in the locker room. What is that? I see DeMario Davis's Instagram. He's walking around. It's like he's not really doing the gritty. He's doing something else. This week he had like a bunny hop going. What are these dances? Where do they come from? And then why do I always see Drew Brees? He just kind of like walks in the frame and kind of like looks at it, and he's got his gigantic, beach towel for a quarterback towel on him, and he's just kind of looking and then gets out of the frame. I'm like, what the hell's going on in there?
Club Lil Saint, that's what Club Lil Saint is a real thing. But you just catch the side glimpse of Drew. Drew's already danced. You missed Drew dancing. In fact,
nobody's caught him.
It's elusive. It's elusive. Great White Buffalo.
Oh, man. We got to get him. Great White Buffalo. Dude, you got to catch him. What's the deal? Hey. Somebody's got it. I want him. It's like a bounty, right? Like a reverse bounty. But I need a video of Drew.
When Drew's ribcage heals up and he's back to, slinging 31 points on our opposing team, right. we back on. I'm going to make that the mission. Like,
what about Taysom? Can Taysom dance?
Excuse you? We've made Taysom dance, but Taysom is a hell of an athlete.
He got?
He can play tight end, quarterback, running back, halfback.
But he failed. He failed ballroom dancing, huh?
He probably is excellent at ballroom dancing. It's locker room dancing that may pose a problem. But he got in there.
That's a different skill set.
Yeah, it's an entirely different skill set.
Fair. Well, he's playing all right, so we'll let him slide. What about Sean Payton? Can Sean Payton dance? I know he's got some nice, fresh J's all the time.
Also,
you said he's sponsored by Jordan.
Hey, you've seen Sean Payton. Look, about a year ago, he had his own little dance. He had the SP.
Here?
He was out there. Here. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but he was getting it. It was like his own personal wave.
That's good.
He gets in there. He gets active. We don't expect much from coaches, and yet he gets in there every club. He in there.
Got to. It's time to cash in 2020 with MyBookie. They've got deposit matches, free bets, and huge cash prizes for you to take advantage of all season long. NFL action, check. College football, check. They got a mobile-friendly website and top-of-the-line customer service, which makes MyBookie a one-stop shop for all your betting needs. MyBookie offers action on anything you need. They got championship futures. They got NFL in-game live betting, making sure you're covered every step of the way. Sign up at MyBookie today. And when you do, use the promo code Sanchez, SANCHEZ, to claim a halfway match on your deposit. So essentially it works like this. Put in $200, they'll spot you a free $100 for you to play with. I'm no math major, but that sounds pretty good. The promo code is a bonus designed to give you a little help and a head start on your winning season. That's promo code Sanchez. Get on MyBookie right now and claim your $100 deposit. All the major sports and more await you, even stacked UFC cards. So don't wait. Sign up today and begin your winning season exclusively at MyBookie. You guys played the Broncos last week, and oh my God, what were you guys thinking when you got the news about their quarterback situation? These guys all go in, there's so much to unpack here, but I'm also glad my mom doesn't have a Twitter or have a Twitter when I was playing, because that was crazy. And I understand she's sticking up for her son, saying, hey, he's trying to go in on an off day and get better and blah, blah, blah. But they didn't wear their masks appropriately, apparently, is kind of what came out. The Broncos self-report, and then the NFL just lays down the hammer and basically makes an example of the Broncos. And now they show up in this game with 4 or 5 hours of prep with a guy who hasn't played quarterback in years, and he's a practice squad wide receiver. What did you guys just scrap your defensive game plan and just say, hey, get ready for Wildcat, or keep your same calls? What'd you do?
Practically. We sort of got the information just as everybody else did, right? Like Saturday. Offense, of course, then had to go straight into, whatever little virtual meetings they went to, while we're on the plane, we're trying to figure out what we're doing. And meanwhile, outside in. They're like, oh, the Saints, pass rush is going to have a field day. I'm like, what pass rush? I was like, guys, this is like, you realize with no quarterbacks,
They're not gonna
you can't drop back. Like, I was like, oh, yeah. I'm excited. Phillip Lindsay, Melvin Gordon might be taking snaps. And I think Phillip Lindsay did take the first snap. So,
yeah. I
mean, you just had to focus in on the run. And up until, the fourth quarter, probably like the last 2 runs, they had like 32, 33 runs for 70-something yards. And then 2 runs happened where it was like a 23 long and like a 7 long. And all of a sudden they had 100 yards rushing and then our defense was pissed. But, you know the game plan you're going into. You got to stick to, your sound defense of gap integrity and playing the run and surfing. And, it becomes a completely different ballgame. You go from like, oh, I'm pass rushing. Drew Lock, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Whatever. He's down. Whatever quarterback is, great. We're pass rushing because we like our matchups. 10 times out of 10, you always think D-line is going to have a field day. And then of course you catch the wide receiver / quarterback that that they're not going to let get hit like that. So I don't even know what he ended up dropping back for. What, 8, 9 times? 9 times? 2 interceptions.
Yeah,
should have
9
had
times.
4. But this kid legitimately like you just said, went from practice squad to elevated. Oh, I'm the QB now. I'm QB1. And
dude, that's so tough.
Yeah, I mean, I hit him a couple times. I'm probably.
Did he say anything during the game?
I mean, what can you?
Yeah, did he say anything during the game? Like,
ouch,
damn, this is hard, or like, yo, y'all need to chill.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line was like, was trying to do their best to protect him, and it's at the same time. So,
yeah, exactly.
We have to deal with what we have to deal with. It's big ups to my man for being in that position. Major respect for that. And then you sort of feel bad. Like the 4th time I laid into him, I was like, that's gotta hurt. Like he was all of $145, soaking wet with a backpack and pads.
Yeah, dude, he's little.
Yeah, I mean, he hit the ground. I think he like jumped up and tried to like finesse one, and you give him the on like a little run out. It didn't end well for him. Like he hit that ground tough. I watched it on film. I was like,
hard.
I was like, the head bounced off the ground. Like that hurt.
Ouch. All right. I mean, poor guy. Gosh. At the end of the day, you got to be a pro, and you're like, hey, we're here for this W. Sorry about your circumstances, but this is the way it's going to go down. I get it. That just sucks. So Drew's mom takes to Twitter. Drew apologized, Drew Lock. He says, hey, I'm sorry to the organization, to the fans. It was an honest mistake. I just wasn't wearing my mask, whatever. I mean, how many times have you gotten out of the car and you're like walking in the supermarket and you're, oh, shoot, I got to go grab my mask. So I get it. It happens. So I wanted to read. Have you seen his mom's tweet, by the way?
Nope. I'm already on to Atlanta. But continue.
God. Oh, come on.
24-hour rule, bro. Like, Sunday, and then it was like a 20-hour rule. I was over it. Like, do you want to watch the film? Oh, you talking about the 40
understand.
runs?
No. You can understand how his mom would go on there and be like, hey, like, he's trying to help, blah, blah, blah. I guess you can't really get mad at her.
Moms will be moms. There's been worse statements by wives. So a mom defending her son, especially in the last couple weeks. So moms, moms defending their son, that's a motherly thing to do. Wives talking about, how they just want to go to Saks Fifth, whatever.
All right, what about bigger picture? The Broncos obviously self-report. Do you think it makes teams a little apprehensive to self-report in the future? Because, I mean, they just got crushed by the league. Now I feel like everybody's going to be like, I'm not sending in the video. Are you, kind of thing? So where do you think the league's at with that?
I have no idea. When it comes to the league, the Saints and the league, I wouldn't say, we're just going to hold it down. We can only control what we can control.
Yeah, hold on. Sean Payton's calling. Hold on one sec. Hey, coach.
I'll say this interview might be over if SP's calling. We don't do media.
Well, we had to ask. Okay. Thanks for entertaining. I feel like Coach Payton always has you guys in a great mental framework, or does his best to. You guys are without Drew Brees. There's all this media circus circulating. Hey, Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, what's going to happen? You start off the season 1-2. You lose Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. What do you think? attribute your guys' resilience, or what do you attribute your resilience to as a team, being without your quarterback, without multiple receivers? How do you guys persevere through stuff like that?
I mean, we're a team that has overcome so much every year, any year. And as you know, in the locker room, it's always the next man up mentality if somebody does go down. And this is not the first time that we've been without Drew, or it was probably the first time we've been without Mike T. But again, I feel like if Mike T was down, we still have who I consider the, offensive most valuable player of the year in Alvin Kamara. So, we still got AK, who's at times is overly amazing. You'd be like, oh, yeah, that's AK type stuff. But then you look at the run, you're like, damn, he did that. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Like, you look like he should have been tackled 3 times, and yet his balance, his shiftiness, his whatever you want to call it, is so unparalleled. Like, he's out of that thing. And then, of course, on the defensive side, teams focus on me, but yet we still got Demario Davis, who in my mind might be a DPOY this year the way he's been playing, not just all pro. And then you talk about Trey Henderson. They were so focused like, I'm catching double teams. I'm like, hey, if you double than me, that means guys like David Onyemata and Trey Henderson and Sheldon Rankins are free, and these are problems that you don't want. Next thing you know, Trey was leading the league in sacks for a second, and we still got some games left. He's wilding right now. He's at 9.5, and I'm sitting at like 6.5. I'm like, yo, he took off. Y'all focused about this? That man out there eating.
Smart. That's smart. That's huge. That you guys have plenty of talent to go around. It says a lot about the scouting department, the guys you're drafting, the players and locker room you guys have put together. Tell me about Taysom Hill. Does he do anything quirky, funny, other than his poor? Oh, you're good.
Close the door.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
I'm trying to tell you, look.
What's up, babe?
Say hi.
Oh, so cute.
All right, give me a kiss. You gotta go. You gotta go. Oh, my God.
Daddy, we have to go.
Yeah, I know. Mommy said you gotta go.
All right. What's her name? What's your daughter's name?
This is Nia Grace. This is my youngest. And
hi, Nia.
yeah, say hi.
Hi.
Oh, now you want to ask
Nia, who's the best player? Nia, who's the best player on the New Orleans Saints?
You don't know? Say, what's the Saints? Say, who's the Saints? That's where Daddy works.
She said Alvin Kamara.
She might. I was like, knowing her, she might be Mike
Thanks
T
a lot.
with it. She's all about this, and then like don't look at you like what? Was it me?
Let me see. Let me see, Nia.
Show your muscles.
Can you flex?
Show muscles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very good.
You guys are out there jumping on trampoline.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We gotta.
Say, hurry up, Dad.
I know. All right, go get a cookie. Close my door. Yeah, go tell Mommy to get a cookie. Love you. Bye. Yeah, I'll be out in a second.
I've always wondered because Brees has so much energy before the game. I see you guys getting excited, rallying around him. When somebody else steps in, like they've had to the last couple of years, does Taysom try and like take over that role, or somebody else kind of has to do it? Is it
Nothing's?
How does that work?
Yeah, nothing has to be sent. Like nothing has to be fabricated. Like all this is all genuine us. Double D is a phenomenal leader. It gives out. I mean, if you tuned into some of his little turn-ups, I mean, he gives out that fire each and every week. So honestly, it's a collective effort. With Drew went down last year, and that was the first time, really in my career that he'd been out for multiple games. That's something that, our defense sort of took over. It was like match our energy. We had an opportunity and chances to then you sort of ascertain that we were a defense to be not to be messed with, I guess, without trying to curse. And just the mentality that, we're always going to have each other's backs. I mean, we're our brother's keepers. So going into this year, Drew goes down, but it's a position that we've been in before. And now it's just like, offense, you guys figure out who's going to be hiking this ball, but we still have, Mike T. We still got AK. We still got Traquan, and Traquan's been playing his ass off this year. Then you go back and, you add in Emmanuel Sanders. Like, there's so many weapons. Taysom and everything that he can do. And coach ended up rolling with Taysom, and we still have an All-Pro left tackle, Teron Armstead, All-Pro right tackle, Ryan Ramczyk. You got a Pro Bowl guard and AP Andrews Pete, and you got a center that really plays well. I mean, at this point, you just put it on team. That next man up mentality. We trust each other.
Your favorite Drew Brees story, memory, whether it's the pregame amp up, any kind of motivational speech or anything like that. What's your favorite Drew Brees memory other than his giant beach towel that he wears every week? Can you ask him about that?
Oh man, come on. I mean, it was probably back in the '80s when he was playing. I mean, consistency is key.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I mean, honestly, when I first got to the league, I mean, of course, everybody knows who Drew Brees is, but when you see the way he works, it's not everything that other people see. It's the stuff that gets me is the same way he was working out, running hard on sprints, running all that. My first year in the league, 10 years later, he's still doing the same thing. Like the way he's so meticulous about taking care of his body, the way he's always in the meeting room. Like he's 20 years in, and his work ethic is probably escalated. Like it has never took a step back. It's that set standard of excellence that is the thing that will always stick out. I mean, I'm sitting at year 10 and I'm like, yo, I'm pushing myself to be better than I was the day before, and that standard is really set the tone by guys like Drew Brees, Jonathan Vilma, how he was when he was playing. I mean, I had all the vets out there looking. So if anything, I'm going to remember him for all the work that he put in that people don't see.
Yeah. Does the team feel that like, hey, this could be his last year? We gotta show out a little bit. We gotta make sure he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Does that enter anybody's mind? Your mind specifically?
I think he was a first ballot Hall of Famer like 5 years ago, 6 or 7, 10 years ago. I mean, halfway through his career.
But just like making sure, like, all right, this has got to be,
he's
his ride off into the sunset. We're kind of, I don't know. Does that ever? Do you think about that or not really?
He's top 2 quarterbacks and he's not 2. So, just most 5,000-yard seasons, most touchdowns, most passing yards, most. I could just start throwing the most out there, most. But when you talk about, could it be last season? They say that they've been saying that every year for the last 5. Until it is what it is, I'll worry about it when it is. That sounds like the most George W.
Fair.
Bush statement ever.
Yeah, that was, but that's okay. Nuclear. Let's go. All right, you guys, let's look ahead. You said you're on to Atlanta, and I tried to stall as long as I could. The first matchup this season, you guys win 24-9, but this team has to be the best 3-7 team in the league. I mean, they're right in every game. They just beat the brakes off the Raiders, who we thought were pretty good. Right. You guys lose to the Raiders early in the year. Where's your mindset going into this game? And, when teams, I feel like when teams have nothing to play for, essentially nothing to lose, and they just go out, play free, those teams are sometimes dangerous and they can derail teams that are on a mission like you guys. What's your mindset going in? What is SP said about it? And where's the defense at?
I mean, going into, getting on the plane after beating Denver, we looked at each other and was like, all right, well, we got the Falcons this week. Like, it doesn't need to be a 24-hour rule. We need to be focused on them now. Because what they're bringing to the table. They got Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Gage. They brought in the tight end from Baltimore, Hayden Hurst. So you have, Matt Ryan, who has been a league MVP. They've invested. They've still got Alex Mack at center. Todd Gurley in the backfield, who's coming downhill and, at one point was leading the league in touchdowns. This is an offense that can put up points. And you have to be mindful of that. So, and of course, you talk about just the Atlanta-New Orleans rivalry. Like, in this rivalry, you could be 0-14. As long as you beat your rival 2 times, you straight. Like, that's what the city vibes has always been. It's like, it's like Patriots going 14-2, and those 2 losses are to the Dolphins. Like, that's that rivalry. You know what I'm saying?
Not okay.
You know what it is. Man, so when you talk about what we're expecting is the best shot that they can give, and that's something that we know we're going into with.
What about the Twitter beef between SP and Roddy White?
I mean,
does that add to the fire a little bit? That was awesome to me. It seems like it's really Sean's personality, but
I missed it for a second. Like I missed all of it until after the game, a reporter was like, "Hey, what did you think about Sean's tweets?" And I was like,
No, you didn't see this?
I didn't. Like, I had to go back and look for it. It just sounded like, Roddy White was being Roddy White, just trying to get a hot take. It's not like it's not like, the Saints Atlanta is like a true rivalry. Like the Saints have, in my 10 years here, have like a lot more wins than Atlanta does. But I think it's like a historical rivalry. Like we feel it between the cities.
Right.
But if you look at it on paper, it's jaded.
Yeah.
It's slanted to one way. And it's
No doubt.
It's a very sanctorious victory.
So we're trying to do our most in-depth research here. So of 155 games, you started 154 of them. Let's see. The one game you didn't get a start.
The 16th game
your
of my
rookie year.
rookie year. The 16th.
Yeah.
Because I was in one.
Yeah.
I wasn't in on a pass rushing situation. We started. I wasn't on dime. My rookie year, they told me it was first and second down. Third down belongs to veteran players. Rookies don't play third down. And since then, I've had all types of rookies being on third down. So I'm pretty sure they just said Cam Jordan, third down wasn't for you, rookie year, which I put on my shoulder as a chip and was like, I'm a first, second, third, and fourth down player. If there's a down to be played, I want a piece of it. 93 and a half sacks later. 92 and a half sacks later after my rookie year. Because I only had one.
Let's go.
In fact, the only sack
All right.
I got my rookie year was the game I didn't start. So maybe they shouldn't have started me all 16. I would have been in a better place.
Well, it sounds like you haven't thought about that at all. Weird.
No,
Okay.
I don't dream about what I could have
Let's
been.
do your favorite New Orleans restaurant and what's your order?
Man, I don't even know. It's, like, you realize I haven't been in a restaurant since March?
Yeah, well, your favorite restaurant you used to go to.
Man, for breakfast, it was Yaya's. Yaya's Comfort Food
Okay.
out here in Harahan, fire. They had this, like, first of all, they have these cinnamon pancakes. I don't even like pancakes like that. I feel like it's always too much, like, dough situation going on. I'm a waffle guy.
Right.
But these pancakes, cinnamon fuego. Then they've got like this breakfast skillet, the egg whites, chorizo, pico, avocado over the top, melted pepper jack. Crazy.
And you get both orders. You get two
Don't
things.
judge
Wow.
me. Don't judge me. And no, it's not an off-season thing. This is in-season. Treat yourself.
All right.
But
All right. Just checking.
yeah, but I mean, if you go after that, it's if it's like a dinner with me and wifey, me and Bay, have a Bay date. We I like Doris Metropolitan. You get that A5 Wagyu skewers as the app.
Ooh.
And then, of course, you get
Ooh.
lamb chops for the entree, so you get best of both worlds. And you get a nice little cab. I would say the Jordan cab. 2015 comes out of a French oak.
Gotcha.
I'm not like
Dang.
a specialist or anything.
Wow.
Yeah. But,
All right.
that's
Food
that's a
connoisseur.
meal. Yeah, that's a meal.
All right. That sounds like a good day. Dang. I need to come eat with you. All right. Who's the funniest player in the locker room?
If I exclude myself, because I think I'm hilarious.
I'm the funniest guy. Just ask me.
Yeah, that's clearly the joke. No, it's probably.
All right.
We have so many personalities on our team. We have so many people that are hilarious, and I think offensive linemen don't mean to be funny. They're just goofy
Goofy.
by
funny.
themselves. Like their eclectic personalities make them funny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
directly funny, probably Craig Robertson or it might be it might be Craig. Craig might because he's willing to roast you at any given time. Like our line, our whole defense is like such a brotherhood. Like you're roasted anytime. Like you have older brothers like look for you to mess up. If you mess up, it's your ass. Like it might be the entire defense.
My favorite moments when you're walking in on a road trip Saturday. You're getting ready for the plane ride. And as soon as you walk in the locker room, whatever you're wearing,
It's fire.
everybody's looking and just waiting for you to come in with something suspect. And I remember Malcolm Jenkins being one of the best dressed guys, but he would, he'd put together a lot of stuff and it looked like a lot of work. Who's the best dressed right now? Who gets made fun of the most? Does Taysom Hill look like one of those guys coming and knocking on your door from the Church of Latter-day Saints? Like, how does he dress for road trips?
I mean, road trips. I mean, him and Drew are. I think they're. I know Drew for sure has some shares of Untuckit, but I mean, just think of what Drew wears, and then just put it on Taysom. Like that's the copy, carbon copy.
Like they might be a principal or a vice principal of a Catholic school or something.
No, I mean more like an accountant you trust. Like nothing edgy, nothing but like a nice button up. Some slacks of some sort, and just like edgy tight boots. Like are those? Well, like what brand are those? Like where did you get these from? Like they're not your square toe, but they're not super flashy. Just hey, you run the mill. Like you look nice. Are you going for a business interview?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like he meets you and shakes your hand like, Drew from accounting, how the hell are you?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Okay, that's fair. What about Malcolm? Is he still doing all his, he's got the hats and the...
Hey, DeMaurice Seville. DeMaurice Seville. You know what it is. Like he has a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
He is fashionable. He got the top hat on. You take that top hat off, that head is shining, boy. Like, and then you got the whole suits, and he be fresh. I'm like, dang, I see you.
Damn.
I see you, Damn. These are high standards.
Okay.
Then you got Demario Davis, 3-piece Demario, good and well.
Right.
Every Sunday he gonna have a 3-piece on. I'm like, boy, you ready for church? I see you. But you the
but
best
church on
I've
Easter, not just any Sunday. It's church on Easter. He's like to the 9.
No. Church on Easter might be a little too loud. Like that's vibrant colors. That's your turquoises. That's not Double D.
Yeah.
Double D is like church on Christmas.
Okay.
Like you got to show out for the Lord.
Okay, earth tones.
Okay. No doubt. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like boy, you're clean. Like your mama be proud. He clean. Like easiest. Like DeMario kill a game, and then. Yeah, I think that and then you got you got your young guns like Two Spoons and Sean, Marshawn Lattimore, who are just like fresh, like just dripping. You know what I'm saying?
Solid.
And, the latest, and then of course you got Emmanuel Sanders, big drip. I mean,
Oh yeah, and he's like a lot of big brands, big logo kind of guy, designer kind of guy.
Big drip, Christian
right?
Dior.
Yeah. Yeah, red bottoms and the whole thing. He's very
Quan Alexander, just like
That's
that. Fair. Hey, big drip. Hey, you ain't messing around when you walking around. You know what I'm saying? You got to elevate your game. You can't just be in whatever. You're gonna get fired up. It's not how you come about. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you got your offensive linemen who look like they're sponsored by Wrangler.
Yeah.
You just come in and it's like, oh, you guys all shot that big and tall. I get that. You guys have the same assortment of clothes. And I
DXL.
Yeah. Whatever's in that 3X, tall situation.
I get it. Okay. Last one of these. The fastest player on the team. I know most people would say Alvin Kamara.
No.
But
no, they wouldn't.
Taysom Hill has a faster recorded 40 at the Combine. Did you know that?
Pro Day or Combine?
Pro Day.
Yeah, I'll say he's a Pro Day guy. He's a Pro Day guy. You don't trust
Big
Pro Day guy. That's just like
okay, but
that's just
4,
like when
5,
you
6 for
when guys
Kamara
run
and
at
4,
USC
4, 4?
and run 2/10 faster than what they did at the Combine. I don't trust Pro Days. When guys be like, I ran a 4.3
you get like a month to prepare.
I'm like, unless it was laser time at the Combine where I swear that their ideas to make you slower than what you are, I don't trust it. Like, I ran a 4.69 unofficial, and then my thing came out to a 4.78 or whatever it is, 4.77, whatever it was. But I was like, I'm a 4.6 guy.
Okay.
Then you catch that official, and it's like, But Pro Day, they're like, that same time could be a 4.5. They're like, 4.5. No, that's legit. I don't. Come on.
All right. So Kamara's the fastest.
He's fast. Deontay Harris.
Oh, okay.
Is fast.
Fair.
Marshawn says he ran a 4.3. So, don't ever. And then, of course, P-Rob. P-Rob is fast. Like I say, if I can get Justin Hardy, JT Gray, Marshawn, and Deontay on a 40, that would be the fastest. Tate's not in there. Tate's not in there at all.
Wow.
I mean, he's a 4.4 guy, right?
Yeah, it said 4.44.
Yeah, so he's not in there at all. Like those four are, and I might have to. Yeah, those four are 4 threes. I don't.
Okay.
He's missing out
Okay.
by like a whole 2 steps. But as a quarterback,
Fair.
fastest quarterback in the last 20 years or something like that. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's really impressive. You're on a podcast with the Players Tribune Trust Levels with Mark Ingram, which I've
Big
heard a
trust
couple
levels.
episodes. What should, listeners and viewers, what should they expect from that podcast?
Man, trust levels is just a wave. It's just me and my dog just kicking it like how we're doing now. Talking to our friends across the league, people that we know, people that we play with, people that, we've had the pleasure of hanging out with in the off seasons or know through our schools or whatever. So it's just interpersonal. Like you get real friendly, get to know some guys that you may not know about. Then as we're talking, again, we're catching the football side, but we're catching them as people. So it's just straight. It's just
Good.
chill vibes, just kick back, laid back talking. Really without prompts.
That's
Like
great.
it's really off script. 80% of it, 95% of it.
What about these 5 W's? Who, what, when, why, and how?
Oh,
How is how on there?
I was gonna say 5 W's. I said, oh, we ain't got that. What's that? It?
What about where?
Where the moment me and Mark became teammates, we were like, bro,
Okay.
like you know the vibes. He was already in New Orleans training when we got drafted. I crashed on his couch for the first couple weeks until I found my own spot. Especially because it was a lockout year, so we had no contact with the team. It was really just like me on my own at 21 years old. Like,
Oh, wow. That was the year. Yeah.
right. And then he was like, bro, I'm already training down here. I already got a spot here. Just crash till you find somewhere. And we were, that if that doesn't tell you what type of guy he is, I mean, like, he didn't know me from, what I'm saying? We knew of each other,
Yeah.
then we got drafted, and he was like, hey, bro, mi casa, su casa. So he really became a brother to me. So, fast forward
That's nice.
10 years, I was like, he leaves to the Ravens a year ago. And I was like, yo, like, my brother is gone, but we still could create something.
Yeah.
And then, of course, COVID hit. I started doing some IG Live stuff with Players Tribune. And then I was like, parlayed the idea. I was like, look, my guy, like, we could turn this into, like, a regular thing, turn it into a podcast, like, have some fun with it. But let me bring in my brother. And, that's electric off rip because we feed off each other and, always have just the energy alone and, have a lot of things that line up together. He started a family. I started a family, married, kids. He's got hella kids. He's got 4 of them things. I got 3 right now. I'm about to join in the ranks of the 4th kid. So I'm not,
Oh,
everything-
wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause 3's not a lot.
I know what you were doing during quarantine.
Man, I was trying. Yeah.
Practice makes perfect, buddy. Good job. Great work. It looks like you love being a dad. Your daughter running in there during the show is so cute. And
No doubt.
how has that changed you as a person, as a player? I mean, I'm sure it's given you great perspective on life versus football. And a lot of players, fall into that trap. Like, football is the most important thing in the world. And then, once you have kids, once you have a family, you realize that it's something you do. It's not all of who you are. How much have your kids and your family impacted your life? And talk about them for a little bit, how much they motivate you.
I mean, I feel like I'm blessed enough to know that, like, I was born into the life, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was born and my dad, played football, but my parents did a phenomenal job of like, hey, dad went to work, and when dad's done with work, then he comes home. Like, that sort of compartmentalization has always been been instilled into me. So, whether it's, you're a student athlete or whether it's whatever it is, it's whatever, field, school, family. Like, it's always been sectional. And then, of course, you have your own family, and it's like, hey, football, like, of course, it's God, family, then football. It just, you put it right under there, but it's top 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So in terms of motivation, you put your best foot forward. And for me, it's been legacy. Like, Pops played 13 years, had 6 Pro Bowls. I was like, yo, if I make it to the league, then I can, at least add my name onto the legacy. Like, yo, we made it to the league. Like, that Step Brothers episode,
That's
like,
cool.
when he was like, Dad, we're a family of learning doctors. Except, we're family football players. Pops was a Pro Bowl player. I became a Pro Bowl player. And then my son came into the picture. He was the oldest, so I've got a 5-year-old son, Tank Jordan, and I gave him the government official name Tank. Like, it's his middle, but Tank is Tank. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be soft with a name like Tank. He came out there heavy.
That's right.
And so he's like the most physical, tallest little monster ever. Like, you know, I'm hoping he's gonna be a basketball player, but he tackles everybody. So I'm like, come on, man, go ahead, be finesse. Like, you don't have to run through a brick wall. You can just, you know, be on the outside and just shoot that thing. Like, you could be.
There you go.
You know, but you know, he's got born into my life right after my first Pro Bowl, second Pro Bowl, one of those things. And it's just like the amount of pride you get of having your own. You know, you look at him as like, well, if I take a step forward, he's following in my footsteps. So you can't ever like slack off. You can't ever like, you know, show any sort type of not something that's not your best, something that you wouldn't be proud of, because he's going to look at that. You know, if anything, it just adds to what you need to do. So if I'm running sprints, it's like, and he's out there, it's like, yo, I'm probably running 3 or 4 more, because it's like, yo, like, he's gonna know Dad puts in that work. He gonna know Dad puts in that work.
Remember.
Like,
he can't beat you yet.
Nah, man, he a long way off from that one.
Not till he goes to college. No,
I mean, I smoked my dad when I was in high school. Like, that's how I was like, you know, I was like I was probably senior year of high school. After a practice, smoked him in a race and was like, I was like, you know, I'm just 270 pops, 275. It is what it is. But, you know, I'm also, you know, state champion in discus, et cetera, et cetera. Like, my head was way too big as a senior in high school. I thought come on.
Sounds like it.
Man, you know, the moment you get, like, scholarship offers in, you're like, you know, your parents are like, grades. I'm like, I'm already in college, so. they already want me, so, you know,
I'm already in college.
Yeah, like, I've already met all the clearinghouse requirements as a junior, so you know, like, you know what senior year is going to be. Like, it's
good.
amazing. Yeah, I'm like, Mom, I'm already at Cal. You know, you're just looking at your mom like,
Mom, I'm already gone. Then you team up with the United Way of Southeast Louisiana. We'll end on this, but you're helping with Hurricane Laura. You know, August 20th through August 29th, there were 33 fatalities, hundreds injured, thousands still displaced from their homes.
Man.
So you're helping raise money. You've donated some of your own money. How can people get involved to help and fill us in on what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, from, you know, this 2020 just being what it is, COVID, to, you know, being super, you know, country shutting down, everybody having to be so far away from each other. And then, of course, you know, really Lake Charles and the surrounding areas being affected by not only Laura, but Delta and Zeta. Like, there was so many hurricanes that sort of affected our area. I'm always looking to see, like, what more we can do. And, of course, I've got, you know, Connect over at, you know, United Way. We've done some things. We've done a couple of different charitable events. And I was like, yo, I want to try and help our people who, Lake Charles is probably like 2.5 hours away. And it's like, how do I best help? And we sort of collabed and was like, this is our best way. And if we can raise money, great. And how much money can we raise? So I think we ended up raising like $50,000. And just recently, I think we shut down the GoFundMe. But it's all these actionable items that are being sent out there to the city that is now now trying to get back. And I'm talking about, you know, everything from people losing jobs to houses being destroyed to whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, our way of, at least my way of trying to bring back positivity to an area that was devastated or affected by multiple hurricanes this year. I mean, it's like it never let up. It was like, yo, hurricane season's over and these hurricanes are coming through. And as a man from New Orleans, or a man playing in New Orleans, man that has been around New Orleans for the last 10 years, it's like, how can I help my community who has supported us for so long? How can we try and give some back?
And you do something else in the community too. I don't know if this started before this past off season with, you know, that highlighted the tumultuous relationship between police officers and the community, and George Floyd, the wake of his death. I mean, you do this police training in New Orleans. How long have you been doing that, and what type of work are you doing with them, your goals, your aspirations with that? It's really impressive. I know, you know, Malcolm Jenkins, very involved in the community, always has been, you know, and not just somebody, when something happens, you hear a lot of people talking, but you and Malcolm Jenkins are people of action. That's really impressive. So what's the police training all about, and what are you getting from that?
Right. It's like partnering with Crescent City Corps. we talk about it goes into the New Orleans Police Department, which is super rare. And when you talk about like retraining or trying to add on to training of a police force, it really goes in and gives them the directive to do that. And not normally when you're like, oh, you hear statements from police departments where it's like, hey, we're going through this training program, but it's always like through the government or through their own channels.
Right.
This is something outside of that. This is people coming in and bringing in a way to teach people how to have, community relations with the actual community that they're in, which I thought was a superb idea, just because I go through like everybody else, I go through this idea of, is it okay to defund the police? Is it okay to reallocate funds? Is it like, with lack of better words, distancing yourself from the idea that we need to be policed? But at the same time, it's like, what can we do to actually affect change? And that idea of bringing positivity, of trying to, think about how if I go about saying, oh, we need to do this, put actions behind your words. And I think this could be the best step forward. We just started because it's like you're sifting through different programs, but I felt that this was the most ideal situation for me to try and at least promote change from the relationship of, police and its community. And this is something that, whether hopefully it goes great and we inspire to, push more classes out. This first class is probably going to be 80 people from the 15 that it was. And that's just the first class. If it goes well, we got to keep on pushing. We got to make this a bigger thing. And just focusing on New Orleans first, hopefully we can expand out and become sort of the natural change of causes if it's a positive enforcement. And that's what we're looking for, is that positive change.
That's huge. That's awesome. I'm going to show you a couple plays. We're partnered with East Bay and Conquer, HER, for female athletes. First female Power 5 player to go in the game. Vanderbilt, I would have hoped, could at least get into field goal range. They couldn't, so they tried this directional pooch punt, but she's the first female to do it. And hopefully this next week they get her on the board and get her some points. But did you happen to catch this play this week?
Yeah, I caught the highlight for sure. I'm a guy with 2 daughters. You see these things, it's like the more they can do.
And they almost get the bounce, watch. Okay, little directional pooch. They almost got the bounce at the end, though. They almost got it. Your reaction to that when you saw that this weekend, pretty cool.
Yeah, this goes into with what? Me knowing that she could probably, I want to see her kick a real field goal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know.
She had that bounce where she could have created something, but if she kicks a real one, like, that's what I'm talking about. And that's inspiring on the same likes of Sam Gordon when she came out there and she was juking all those kids back in the gap. She was out there giving kids sauce on the field. And you're like, that's what I'm talking about. We're just looking for elite athletes. They don't care how they come. Like, I don't care, height, weight, gender. Like, if you can play ball, you can play ball. That's just like,
if you can ball, you can ball.
Right. Carly Lloyd was out there drilling them things. I was like, I know she can make a team. Yep. Like, I see some guys out there shanking these things, and you're like, yo, well, you might as well. Hey, bring the next one up.
That's great. Okay, and then we have one last segment. It's called Put in Work. Basically, if you can think back through your career, what has been one thing that's been a part of your routine, whether it's diet, exercise, something that you specifically look back on and say, like, that's who I am, that's what I do, this is how I put in work. Speak to the youth out there like you always do.
From jump, and I probably take this all the way back to high school. When you're doing conditioning, when you're running, and you're in practice and you're a big man, but you're out there running with your next position group up. I was that kid that was like, the defensive line didn't want to run with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, nah, Cam, you got to run with the linebackers. And the linebackers were like, nah, bro, you got to run with the DBs. You know what I'm saying? Like, be that kid. Be that kid that always gives 100%. Don't be that kid that, like, coast and then the last sprint, that's your time to shine. Like, don't be that guy. Like, in my mind, it was always to push myself to that next level. So even when I'm running by myself, it's like I'm running against my shadow. Like if I did 5 gassers the day before, I'm always pushing for a 6th one. If I did, if I'm just running hundreds or 200s, it's like, if I did 3 200s and 4 100s, then the next day that I'm probably gonna do one more of each set. And it's like, find that extra oomph, because there's always gonna be somebody. In my mind, that's how I put in work. There's always gonna be somebody trying to take your job, but if you keep on beating yourself, who can beat you?
That's great, man. We love that. Thank you so much for taking this time. This is your off day. We sincerely appreciate it. Have fun with your family. Good luck on the rest of the season. Stay healthy, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Appreciate it, bro. Like, share, subscribe at Mark_Sanchez, at Fourth and Forever, Instagram, Twitter, all that. You know where to go. Thanks again for having us, and we'll see you soon.